Alright, my peace, welcome back. It is Keenum White. Why am I blanking on that? This is week 7 of the Service Architect Northstar Diaries. This is my second attempt of recording this video because Loom somehow didn't upload my video. So I made a 40-minute recording last night and the video is still not processed because I was connected to a VPN and it's not uploading. It's been about 14 hours since then. So I'm recording this now again. It's attempt 2. So I don't know how long it's gonna take. I hope not 40 minutes again, but yeah, that's 40 minutes gone because I was like explaining everything, but yeah. So week 7, 7 uploads with 7 uploads of this like diaries done, which is pretty sick to be honest with you. I think there's what, maybe no, I've got about 17 left. 17 left because there's 24 weeks in my 6-month timeline. So yeah, you're gonna see me a little bit. So yeah, big week. So as you know, in the previous episode, I talked about how I had a final stage interview, and it is unfortunately I did not get the role as service designer at my dentist. That was the company. But today I'm going to showcase a bit of like the background work that I did and speak about the experience, because again, this is about documentation and it's just about being authentic and true to what is going on currently in the world of Keenum White as we as we continue the pathway and roadmap to service architecture, which is again service design and transformation. So yeah, in terms of the actual interview, again, it goes well. It always goes well because we prepare, and we actually give a fuck. You know what I mean? We actually care about what we're doing because we're passionate about things, and we're enthusiastic and we're curious, and it's just a good blessing overall to just, hey, reach you to a final stage interview. And if let me actually show you as well, we've actually not been doing this for a long time in terms of being intentional about service design and architecture. Service design, the roadmap for service architecture. It's been in existence since I've literally started this on the 19th of October, 2025. That's like I thought about it. I posted on Substack, and that is there. I don't know if that's actually the date though. Keenum White Substack. Let me actually see what they actually uploaded that. Oh, I need to. Oh, that's so dark. Oh, I can't even see. I need to log into my Substack. Let me just go on my phone, just see what they actually posted. Substack is in here. Just give me 2 seconds. What did I actually post? So I don't believe it was the 19th. Yeah, so I posted the Service Architect Diaries on the 7th of October. So it's round about the time. Doesn't really matter the date, but I just wanted to be a bit more precise. Oh, they schedule a live video on Substack. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so I posted this post on the 17th on the 7th of October, but I only started this like Notion file or Notion dump like this day on the 7th, on the 19th. But yeah, so like I said, what I'm doing is inspired by Hangzhou, who has only fangs, not only fans, only fangs. As he's in a similar situation to me, where he's been out of design for about 2 years. I've been out of design for 2 years. As you know, if you would read this Medium post, it will explain what the past 5 years has been like for me. Well, actually, technically now 6 years. Yeah, 6 years now. Has it been? No, it's been it's been 6 years since this. And yeah, so we're back through the pathway of service design, and like I said, I've been very intentional about with just what I'm moving forward, and to be able to just apply for one role. It's like the first role I've actually applied for, and to actually make it to the final stage interview is all the validation I need to just keep going, because I know the pathway will become straight. And as I continue to learn, as I continue to develop, and as I continue to document and share things like that. So, but yeah, this week, like I said, is a bit of a disappointment for not getting a role. But again, we enjoy the process, we enjoy the work, we don't mind at all. I'll even show you, like, there's a lot of like preparation done for everything. So I'll even show you some of the Notion stuff. So like for the preparation, so the task was a presentation, which I don't think I told you about. Let me just go on here real quick. Internet slow, man. What's going on? It's very slow, very slow right now. Very slow. But yeah, basically, in preparation, things I was doing was just making Loom videos like this one, and just kind of more so for documentation. I didn't really play them back too tough. Maybe like once or twice. Actually, no, I did. On a day, I actually did play them back whilst I was at the train station in Victoria, Manchester, Victoria. That's just again mental preparation, but it's part of like my RSVP system. So it stands for like research, study. So research the company, what's about, study the role, which again, because I'm applying for mostly the same role, I don't really need to study because the one and the same. The study, so it's all the interview questions. Sorry, visualizing. So visualizing is just all the questions, the environment, everything like that. And this is the result and planning. So this was a part of visualizing and planning. So as you can see, there's about 8 recordings for this task, or like, preparation. I wanted to do 10, but I was like, you know what, I don't need to do more. I've done enough. I've done enough. I put in a good amount of work to like prepare for it. And to be honest with you, I still read off the script. I still read off the script, but the script actually was pretty decent. You know what I mean? But yeah, not only just these recordings, but I also did like ChatGPT, doing mock interviews, just asking more general questions, because the second interview was about getting to know you and what you think and what you bring to my dentist and stuff like that. So that was that. But in terms of the presentation stuff like that, I will show you some of the bit of work. And so I'll show you the presentation itself. I don't think that's there. Yeah. Let me show you the presentation real quick. Hope it loads. Yeah. So it was about planning a 6-week service pilot, which is actually, like I said in the past episodes, where like this was actually quite a bit of refreshing exposure into service design, because it helped me within my own project for William Hill and understanding my end deliverable isn't what I actually thought it was. So just talking about it, I'll just skim through it. 6-week structure. 6-week structure. Not that one. I don't like that. Yeah, so week 1, let me put myself here. Week 1, start doing that again. Let's do it again. Yeah, week 2, synthesis. Week 4, 5, 6, and the main thing was the workshop, which I've never done, and I talked about the interview as well. But yeah, this was the actual presentation that I said. I do have a script for it, but it's not in this. I need to actually go back and hit notes. But this was an interesting page because, like I said, I've never really done a workshop because I've not been exposed to certain aspects of the design process. So I have a brother. My brother works for the World Economic Forum, and he was like, "Oh, when I was in Geneva, I was like, oh, how do you work, not only just like work remotely, but how do you workshop with people who you don't have much time, who they themselves don't have much time? So how do you kind of work around and continue to like prep the scene, or how are you able to get information out of people that have limited time, and how do you do so?" So basically broke it down to me of the steps that you do before the session, during the session, and after the session. And this was a last addition to it, and it actually translated well, because keep doing that. This is fine. This was a fine ending, but this just added an extra layer to everything, So I'm really glad I actually involved in this because it's something you actually do anyway. So I did find some references online. There's a reference that I found from some university about like workshops and how you plan it before, during, and after, and I was just kind of just implementing it. But yeah, so it's very simple design, but the script is what matters and the content, because sometimes in presentations I'm learning you don't need to actually tell everything, you know what I mean? I don't need to show everything. It's best if you actually talk about it. That's how people really learn as well. But yeah, that was the presentation. But as service design, there's a lot of ambiguity that you deal with, and with this design task, there's a lot, not really that much, but like there's a lot like really didn't understand. So especially about roles, about deliverables, and all these different things. Like I'm like, what's a high level service model? Like what's a service design proposal? Like what is this? So you have to take a step back and understand the scene to gain a clearer picture or richer picture of how you can actually attack something or solve a problem. And this is a bit of my working. So it's just about role clarity, what these different roles mean, how they function with what I need and what I'm after, how would I involve them, what does that look like, why not this time, why this, the artifacts like the internal briefs and the commissioning guide, past notes, and how does that factor in how I'm, strategizing and planning a roadmap for 6 weeks. Also, areas to research, like I said, what is this, what is that? And the thing about service design is the more and more I realize is like, you don't necessarily need to be a subject expert. You just need to be able to fill yourself with as much information so you have a bit of working knowledge so that you can make good judgments. And that's really what it is. It's making good judgments. Good judgments based on all the constraints, all the incomplete information that you have. That's what it is moving forward. So this is like not that long, probably like a couple, like maybe 30 minutes to like an hour, just like really doing it. But the content itself wasn't too much. It was just about presentation. You gotta make it look visually pleasing, And this is actually something I showed in an interview as well, which was, didn't have to, but it was like, hey, I'm very transparent and this is what I did, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm pretty like I said, transparent, and I don't really mind showing people X, Y, and Z because, hey, I did the work anyway. This is for me, not just for you. And this is, like I said, if I was to get the role, I would have had to learn what these roles meant anyway. I would have had to learn what these things meant anyway. So the investment needed to be made at some point. so it's better if I do it now, so that I'm a bit more clued up and whatnot. So, but yeah, this section was more about the actual planning of the roadmap, and I think that was it really. I didn't actually do the code design workshop. Well, I did the code design workshop, but this is just more of planning around how like the structure of the weeks would flow and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the task. Pretty simple, but again, it was great early exposure into something that I really didn't think about. And for my next project, is something I'm actually going to do is a plan. It is a plan, because with the Windmill project is like there's no plan. It's just like it's a bit of a design thinking, but again, we're trying to move into service design, and it's completely different. So yeah, it was great exposure, great experience, and I would do it again. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just unfortunate that I didn't get the role. But what actually ended up happening is, so on Tuesday, I called the talent partner. Well, yeah, the talent partner sent me a message on WhatsApp, and I was like, oh, she was like, give me a call back. I gave her a call, and then she was like, oh, unfortunately, you didn't get this role. Thought you performed well, presentation was well, everything was always well, you feel me? But I lost out on a tiebreaker, and that tiebreaker just being technical experience. So technical experience being just doing more of the job, or just being exposed to the NHS and how things work. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of like organizational risk involved, and again, it's just out of my control, and hey, nothing I can do but just show up as myself and prepare and do what I need to do to make sure that I put myself in the best light. And because I put myself in the best light and I actually showed up and was present, I was able to be considered for a role that isn't as of yet active or isn't as of yet live, but will be in very short term, the next few days to a week. So again, performed well enough to get great feedback, to be between one or two people, and hey, what more could I ask for? I mean, of course, the job would have been that, but yeah, even just being considered for a role that, like I said, isn't active yet is good, is great, is actually even better. So, because I was a bit bummed, and like, of course, like I was speaking to my brother, I was like, sometimes I think even the talent partner said was like, hey, sometimes if the front door isn't open, the side door works just fine. The side door just works fine, and who knows, like that opportunity can lead me to gain more experience and more knowledge of my dentist and more exposure into kind of how organizations work and stuff like that, and being able to actually interact with a lot of different people, and just again that exposure, so when a role does pop up, which it will do because they're gonna grow the team, I can be that like first internal hire. That's like, yo, Keenum, there's a job, you should apply for it. Here you go, you do it again. Let's go. Let's go. Now, will I have to apply? Will I have to apply for this new job? This other job? I don't know. Will I have to do an interview? That's what I'm asking for. That's what I'm saying. Is I don't know. Maybe just for formalities, but hopefully everything should be straight. But yeah, no complaints. Again, a bit bummed that I didn't get the role, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, that's the lived experience of Keenum White. So if you go read that Medium blog, you'd see, oh yeah, that's been your lived experience. Like well enough, but just something. But again, that's why we just try to expose ourselves and just keep moving with faith, and we just know that again, it's things like this early on that just reinforces that, yo, we're making the right decision, we're doing the right things, because what they were talking about is what I'm doing here. Again, not on the same level, but it's not comparable, but it is like adjacent. So yeah, like I said, the things I'm doing now, the things I'm exposing myself to is like, I know in the near future I will get the result I need, and I'll be so elated. I'll be so elated of all the past work. Doesn't even matter no more because we're here. We've arrived, but like, but yeah, we keep it pushing, we keep it moving. But yeah. So some other news. So I have to make another presentation. I have to make another presentation. So yeah, so like I said, the William Hill project is pretty much done. There's a few things that I actually need to do. I've not touched anything on the mirror board this week. I've just not been paying attention to it. But the main thing I actually need to do is just the service blueprint. And I realize I have an incomplete service blueprint, and that is perfectly fine, because again, I don't have access to information, because I don't have access to people and whatnot. Again, it's something that, again, with exposure, that's just, with exposure, you just have an incomplete picture, which is fine. So I present the artifact as an incomplete artifact, as once you get more information, you're able to develop a richer picture and fill it out properly. But yeah, main thing I need to do today is the service blueprint. It's not really going to take too long because it's already done. I just need to actually, do it and finish it. But yeah, so presentation, I actually was starting on it yesterday. So the presentation I need to do, is tomorrow. So I need to get this done today. I need to get it done by like 5 p.m. because I'm working later on. But yeah, so this is the presentation that I'm kind of working on right now. So like I said, I was working on it yesterday. Humanizing compliance, reframing a mandatory check from an interruption into a supported task, created by myself. Why this matters: mandatory compliance, high frequency. I need to make myself small actually. Yeah. Regulatory risk and memory dependency. What we observed, evidence from the staff. systemic pictures, and this is just more of the rich picture of how different lenses look at the same thing. I need to change that, but what this project actually is trying to address, what this project is not actually, not addressing, but what it actually is discoverability, confirmation, and just a lot of user-friendly, human. I need to add that too. But yeah, that's really where I'm at with it at the moment. It's not really that much else to do, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's not really gonna take too long. It's just mainly just the design and how I present everything. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Yeah, damn. How did I make a 40-minute video? I don't know. How did I make a 40-minute video? Why did it not save? But yeah, so going back on the interview, one of the things that that actually like happened in the interview was like, so the interview, oh sorry, yeah, let me actually talk about it. I can go back on Notion. Yeah, so like just go to the interview, just talking about it, just circle it back because I want to talk about some other stuff as well. The interview went well. That's about an hour and a half or even more. The interview flow was a reintroduction, presentation, which I showed you, presentation Q&A, which again, with the conversations, with the mock interview with ChatGPT, I was asking, and I was actually in the presentation with the script I wrote, was addressing a lot of those questions early on of like how they might think. So that's where like learning about the different roles was like a major key into be able to like understand, okay, these are the questions that will pop up. Okay, let me address that in the script as I go through. And that's something that they also picked up on. It's like, oh, a lot of the stuff you wanted to talk about, you already addressed. so that's just preparation. That's just showing care, preparation, and thinking ahead. But yeah, the interview workshop, and this interview workshop was actually really centered around thinking, input, and advocacy, and it was actually really fun because, like I said, I haven't been exposed to working with other people as much as I would like to, and it was just like such a surreal experience where like, oh, this is kind of what the job is, right? Like not fully, but like kind of what the job is. Like, I've got the head of service design here. I've got the lead service designer on a big monitor somewhere else remotely, and we're all just collaborating in real time. And it's like, whoa, this is like more confirmation that this is something that I just really need to keep doing. I just really need to keep doing because it's so just like a surreal, like, wait, I just talked about this, I learned about this, I presented this, now I'm doing it. I'm like, whoa, how is this working? How is this work? But it was an interactive workshop, interactive interview workshop, and that's actually a first for me. I've never experienced that, but it was actually quite fun. And then some closing questions that I had. But yeah, man, the interview again went well. Like I said, some general thoughts. I would probably can't fill this out, but I'll probably just leave it at what I just wrote. It went well. Pretty nervous at the start. I'm always nervous at the start. But once I get like mind comfortable, like I'm like quite open. I've got like my hands, like I've got my hands, and they're just underneath my leg because I'm just like comfortable. Like I'm just comfortable. That's just how it is. Like I think that's just how it is for me. But yeah, so below, like I said, in this you can find some of the resources that I had. I put in a bit more effort, but yeah, again, it's worth it. You know what I mean? Because at some point I'm gonna have to make that investment anyway. So it's best if I make the investment now and become a better person, better designer, better thinker. Then in the long run, it's gonna benefit me. But yeah, that's really all I have. That's all she wrote. How I extended this for about another 40 minutes, I don't know. But oh yeah, let me. There's something that I even did yesterday. Let me just check ChatGPT for a second. 1 second. It was in Korea. One second. Everything's so slow, man. Ridiculously slow. Um, I don't know where it is actually. Hmm. I don't know where it is actually. I can't find it. Um, I actually can't find it. I actually can't find it. Where is it? Oh yeah. I don't know why it's here, but um, right. Anyways, an interesting thing about the William Hill project is recently, I had a conversation with a retail learning specialist, and if you think back to this, working it out of like who to involve and when, this is a clear indicator of why planning is so important. But again, exposure. So I spoke to a retail specialist last week, and this is just a summary of the conversation I had. So found the conversation useful and grounding, but not discouraging. It was made clear that William Hill as an organisation is fragmented, with systems ownership access spread across different areas, which is normal. So one thing she kept reiterating was cost as a major constraint. And again, how would I know? I'm just someone on the front lines of just seeing things in real time and seeing people be frustrated with something. So I'm like, oh, let me improve it. Um, Cost of implementation, cost of maintenance, meaning even ideas like myself, like this project, can face real barriers. Let me go back to the project. So I realized that in the conversation, many of the ideas that had been thought about or explored before, which makes sense because had a longer tenure than myself and greater organizational memory. Again, with the incomplete picture, I wouldn't have known any of this information from a frontline perspective. And again, that the picture of the system was therefore incomplete. Rather than it felt like invalidating the work, the conversation expanded for me how my understanding of how organizations really work reinforced that the project was never about implementation, but it was more about learning, exploration, and seeing how far good service thinking could go within real constraints, which is something that I was like, ooh, it kind of allowed me to kind of reframe what this project is and what this project means for me. Um, but the value that I get from this project really was just being seen and heard. Conversations has reached as far as they realistically could, and a legitimate internal project, even if it wasn't commissioned, and I will claim it as a legitimate project. um, but yeah, so like I've even after the conversation, I did a brain dump of like the conversation and how I felt, and I was like, oh, is this project even worth it? Is this project even worth it? Like, is this project even worth it anymore? And I was like, yeah, yeah, because I took it as far as I could go. I took it as far as I could go. And in service design, implementation just sometimes doesn't happen, and that's fine. But again, I'm very satisfied with the project. It sharpened my systems thinking, exposure to constraints, and help you understand the role of what a service designer does more deeply. So for me, this project has been a net benefit in terms of like a pivotal moment in terms of like my career and getting things back on track with career and jobs and service design. And I remember talking to a recruiter some years ago about like, because I was like, oh, have you worked with like many like service designers and whatnot as a recruiter? I was like, yeah. I was like in terms of like case study work and projects, like how many like just asking them, just curious, like how many like projects or case studies would typically people have when they come to you? Like one. I'm like, one? That's it. One. I was like, okay. So I'm like, okay, this is that. This is that one. So yeah, like I said, I'm very happy with this project. Like I said, I took it as far as I can go, and yeah, I have an interview, not an interview, but a presentation. This presentation that I showed you before about the humanizing compliance with the area manager, and it may even go higher depending on what she thinks. And to be honest with you, I'm actually coming in to the presentation with no expectation of actually just anything, but just again being seen and being heard, because again that is all part of the story, that's all part of the experience, and that's really how you're able to continue to get buy-in. You know, so but yeah, presentations on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. It is currently you can see on my screen, the 19th of January. So I need to get this presentation done ASAP. So thank you for watching. It's been episode 7. It's been week 7. My adder is twitching a little bit. I'm quite annoyed. Week 8 shortly. And one of the things also is like, I've actually had a lot of like internal growth the last like 3 weeks, like a bit too much, and it's just been like so effortless to where like a lot of like the old identity about who I thought I was or whatnot has just kind of shifted to where like I just don't really care anymore, to where now I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna just start posting on LinkedIn. I'm just gonna start talking about stuff. I'm just gonna actually just show up more and more and more, because who cares? You know what I mean? Like, the main goal for this year really is to just transition into service line more so than ever, and we're actually at the cusp of actually making that reality. Before it was like a bit wishy-washy, but now it's like the path is just continuing to go straight, and the work that we put in, the faith that is just keeps developing, keep growing, just all, and it's just all culminating into these moments to where like, look, I didn't know a couple months ago I was starting this project that I was going to present this to my area manager. I didn't know that. I couldn't even see that. But now look at us. We're here, and yeah, presentation after presentation, man. Too many presentations. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you in week 8. Peace.